What's up, YouTube? In this video, we're going to teach you how to make this bar top. If you look in the description below, I've added some timestamps, so if you want to skip to a certain section, please feel free to. That way, if there's a particular thing you want more help on, just click on the link and it'll jump to that part of the video. Please enjoy. All right, step one, we are going to hand crank in. I'm going to use a screwdriver because these are a little difficult to put in by hand, but we're going to put in all of our cam lock screws. They did recommend that you do not use a power tool. Alright, we now have all our screws in both sides. So because these speakers, the tweeter actually comes out just a little bit here. Rather than taking off this piece of plastic or messing with the actual speaker, what I think I'm gonna do, because you can see this little gap right here. I could just leave the gap, but then there's gonna be pressure on this piece here when I screw it in. That should be fine, but what I did was I actually took off the grill. This little it comes right off, it's not even glued in there very well. And then I thought, well, what if I could go through these holes right here and then kind of mount it like this. Now that helps, but it's still not there. So then I feel like what I'm gonna do is just add a couple of washers. So I'm going to add a couple washers in between here and there. So I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. All right, so see, I have 3 washers per screw, and I want my speakers to go down, so now I just want to make sure that my screw holes are not going to go into, are going to be centered. That's a nice feeling right there. Look at that. Perfect. And there you go. I don't know if you can see that, but it says pile. Cool. So now let's rinse and repeat. 4 more screws, get that on. All right, that's done. We got our speakers on. Really nice connection there. Pretty well centered. Pretty well centered. Looking good. I'm liking it. Didn't crack anything here. All right. All right, now comes time for the buttons. So we're gonna have to go ahead and cut holes where all the buttons go on this vinyl to thread the buttons through. But we also need to put the acrylic on top. So you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and cut first and then add the plexiglass and then do the buttons. So with this, you just wanna do like a little X. You wanna be able to feed the button through, but you also don't want to mess up the vinyl either, if possible. Cool. This lines up perfectly. And then now we have buttons, 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 and more buttons. Buttons and joysticks. All right. So the buttons have these little collars somewhere. Yep, here they are. The collars are in a separate bag. Oh, so this is where things get fun. And here we go. I'm just gonna manually tighten these at first. But pretty cool stuff so far. Okay, so at this point these are still kind of loose so I can move them around because you want these all to face the same way and be slightly angled. So right now I'm installing them. You want this part to be facing up so it's easy to get to. And what I do is, so if I want this to be on the top, yep, so this one goes like that. I put the lower one in first and then the upper one snaps into place. These I'm gonna wanna turn them all around. That's why I didn't tighten the collars yet, because I want these to, you know, be movable, so I can move. Because as you can see, like right now, they're all going in different directions. But I do want the part that the wire connects to be on the top. I definitely would like that to be there. So as I finish this, got to move things around a little bit. It gets a little. I was like, what's that noise? We got clickety clackety going on now. So we got some things working for us. And just one by one, you're gonna add in your switches. It shouldn't be too hard, you know, now that I'm figuring it out. It seems pretty easy. Easy enough at least. Bottom one, top one, boom. Bottom one, top one. The orientation's a little weird at first, but basically you just want the switch facing up. So like this one is facing the wrong direction. All right, now time to mount the Sanwa joystick. You want to go ahead and take your harness and you want to take off this little grommet right here.
Where it's going in. So I'll go ahead and get the 4 nuts on that right there, and then get all the harnessing wired up.
So for this one, he did mention, you know, you do want to go ahead and put the harness on first. It's just going to make your life a lot easier later. And this one you want to face it in, this one you can face it anywhere, but let's just go ahead and put it in there. As you can see, it fits nicely. Okay, not bad. And then for the screws here, alright, and then for the screws we have 8. We used to have 8, and we're just going to go straight down in. I'm just going to screw to keep it simple. I'm going to go ahead and do this one as well. And then on the back side, looks like we have a washer and a nut for these. A little harder to get in here. Gotta have some tiny fingers. Alright, joystick balls are on. Now for the wiring. Alright, so essentially you have 4 of these, and they correspond to all these pins. You got player 1, player 2. Now, you want to flip it over because you're working backwards. So this is actually player 1, this is player 2. So I'm actually working on player 2 right now. So when it comes time to looking at this, I'm actually looking at this one here. This one is player 2, this is player 1, because this is the front of the controls if you were looking at it. So you got to remember that. So I already started with player 2. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I have 4 here. And so what I would do now, potentially, is I would want 1, 2, 3, 4 on here, which, so I'd go over to the, I'm on the right, so the USB is here, like this, USB slot is here on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be the bottom left would be 1, second to bottom 2, 3, 4. So it should go something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 should go something like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 for player 2, for example. Okay, so I'm going to do this for every single one. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually I'm going to go ahead and plug it in just so I don't get confused here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 already. And then also you want to make sure that the first one is, so this is my first string, and this is 1. So I want to make sure that this 1 goes in the right, because right, I could flip it and it could be wrong, but, so that's right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've got 4 completed. Now I'm going to take another 4, it's a 4 per strand, and then I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. So you want it on the bottom, not this top one, you want it on the bottom one. So now we got 5, move the plastic in the position. So this is the part we need to test. So I'm gonna go ahead and test. I've got it plugged into my encoder. These go to there. I have the grounds hooked up. This has taken me a long time to get to this point. I guess I could go to control panel here. Devices. Okay, so here it is here in my devices. Right click it, go to game controller settings. Okay, here now in properties. There's a player 1 and player 2 when you go to properties. Make sure the top one is 1 player. So like I said, I'm testing player 2 because my grounds are all set up for player 2. So now, you know, just to show I got everything. Remember, according to this, it should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, oh, that's player 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. 7, 8, 7. So 7 is on the far right. Correct. Okay, so all my buttons are good. So now I got to do my axis. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these and grab this blank one. This needs to be, according to this one will be player. See, I'm back to player 1. I can do player 2. So let's move this to player 2. Okay. Player 2, 1, this should be right. So I'm trying to figure out what right is. So let's start with red. Let's go red, and then let's go to the right. Okay, this is up. So red is up, I do know that. So what we can do then is figure out what up is, which is the last one, number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is up. So now I have my up. And I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of twist these together a little bit so they're mated. Okay, red is up. Cool. So now we still gotta figure out the first one, which is right. So let's try another one. Let's try orange. So we're going to touch these two together. Right, left, down. Okay, so it's down. So next is orange is down. Orange is down. Okay, so that would mean that it's the second to last one, I believe. Yes, next to red. So that one would be this third one all by him lonesome self over here. So we got the third one. 1, 2, and 3. And we get the little orange and we do a little wraparound. Okay, so orange is, this might be the same for you if you have the, I'm going to show you what it looks like. And then now we just have, we have one more because, you know, whatever green is, yellow will be the opposite. So let's go ahead and go back to the far pin number 1, which should be right. Let's see if green is right. Like right, the direction, not right. Okay, green is left. So green is not the one we're looking for. So because green is left, that makes it this one. Great. So that's it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put these all together. Okay. First player to the left here. So you on your go to control panel, and then when you plug this USB cable into your, I'm just plugged into my USB port on my laptop here. So I'm first player, so I'd click this first one here. You see that? Yeah, okay. And then I'm gonna go to properties, and then I'll drag this over so you can see it. Okay, so now when I go up, this should move up, down, left. Oh, see? I messed up, I got these two swapped. Wrong directions, and then down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 8. This is correct. It does go 7, 8. Back to the diagram. Yes, it should be 7, 8. Okay, now let's go ahead and check 2-player while we're here. So I already messed up, look at that. So I gotta go switch the left and the right. But second player, left, right, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 should be this one here, the 2-player. It is, and then 8. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys didn't see the thing here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up, down, left, right. There you go. Oh. Wrong side. Controls right here. Just one cam on this one. And then we have our admin panel. With 2 cams there. All right, now we gotta get all these wires out of the way because we're gonna put the bottom on. The bottom, the crease goes in the back. The crease goes in the back, the U-cams go on the bottom. Okay, make sure there's no cables being caught. And then we're gonna go ahead and put our U-cams in here. Just so you see what I'm doing here. We're now on the bottom, just putting in our U-cams. 1 and 2. And then we're gonna go finish the back door next. So here's our back door. And here's our hinges. And basically we want it to be able to open and close here with these hinges. So let's go ahead and line this up. This is the back here, because it already has holes pre-drilled. They already have holes right here. Let's see if these line up. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna line it up with the holes. But before I do that, I just wanna make sure that it will work. So if I have it there, it'll be about there. Let me swing like this. Yeah, it should work. Okay. And I'm just centering the holes. I'm also want to make sure it'll clear here and clear there. And then we could go inside. Just gonna drill a little here at first. I'm not drilling all the way, just so I get them all aligned to begin with, and then we'll go in. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten those from the inside. Okay, that feels pretty good. The other one, you can't really tighten it from the inside, so we're gonna have to open it again. And go ahead and screw this in from here. All right. And now we have that door. It's not hitting anything, opens and closes. Boom, we're done with the door. So since we talked last, I got a power strip that was gonna hold everything I needed, and I put some Velcro on it, and then I put some Velcro on the bottom. I put some Velcro on the amp, which I'm gonna be mounting in there, so everything will be able to be pulled out, Velcro. I got the back door on, and then next we need to put in the monitor, and then we gotta put in the plexiglass, and then we have to put on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that now. The one thing with the monitor is you do want the HDMI cable and any other cables you want plugged into it now before you put it in there. All right. So I've got the monitor in there now with all the cables. I have a long HDMI cable. It would be nicer to get a shorter one. Eventually I'll do that, but this is what I had at home. And then these are kind of loose in there right now. I wasn't sure whether to firm them up yet or not, because maybe I want to move the monitor up or down. Before you put on the other side, you definitely want to put on your monitor. So I got another piece of plexiglass monitor cover. Got a little piece of plexiglass here. There are other videos out there where they try to flex the thing in there and it breaks it. So don't be one of those people. All right, so we have the other side. We have all our screws in there. Just a little dust here and there. Okay, and now we're gonna put this one on top. Fairly easy process. So now here's where the fun starts. I'm gonna get a thumb screwdriver because some of these places are very, very tight in order to get into there. So here we go. All right, we're getting there, people. We gotta do the T-molding. All the buttons are connected, monitors there. We have the plexiglass over here. Speakers are mounted. You can open this. All of our wires are hooked up. That's all good. You got to kind of tuck that in. So the T-molding, I'm just placing it in and hammering it up. When you get to a turn, you want to take an X-Acto knife and just cut a little of the T out so it fits into the groove a little easier. It's very simple. I just take a little box cutter and take about an 1/8 of an inch out. That way it just settles into the curve much easier. Try to remember, don't cut towards yourself. And then once you cut that, you just keep going. Now, I've already done building it, but I wanted to open it up. These last steps I took, I kind of did it all without recording because I was already really into this pretty deep. So you definitely want to lift this up to get this door to clear when you have it at an angle like this. But there's the insides. So part of the video you didn't see me put this monitor mount on. Basically, I removed the stand from my Asus monitor, and then I added these screws. You can see this one's not on right. So something to double check is the screws that were included in the kit are actually not the right size screws for this monitor. It might work if you have the LG or the BenQ or the Acer or other brands. But these particular screws, I needed to get different ones, so I had to get those. I mean, they're only $1 or so. So definitely make sure you have the right screws and make sure it's I think it's VESA, V-E-S-A, mount. But that's what these holes are for here, is to move the monitor up and down, and then this piece of wood just holds the monitor in. So I mounted the monitor, fairly straightforward. As far as aligning it, you could see on the other side, it's just a matter of getting it to where you want it correctly. So that was the monitor. The speakers were really easy to wire, just straight to the amp. I have the cords here going to the amp. 3.5 goes to the monitor. The Raspberry Pi is loose right now, but you know, I just have the USB going to the encoder. So those are my 2-player controls. I got the HDMI coming from the monitor, and I've got my power, and then I've got my micro SD card in there. That's all you need. Now, and then the amp has its own power as well. That's being powered. So the amp just has power. 3.5 millimeter. You got a volume control here. Oh, it wasn't even at full. And then I have bass and treble too. I kind of want to raise the bass and the treble on here a little bit. And power on the back. The speaker cable goes to the back. I can even clean this up even more or hold this up here or something, but I'll mess with that later. And then the power strip, which goes exactly through this hole here. So when it's closed, it goes through that hole. Okay. One last thing is the marquee. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off to show you. The other thing is to install the little clip here. There's a pre-drilled hole, so it's very easy. Just make sure you screw it into the pre-drilled slots. You don't even have to measure. It's very easy to do. And then on the door as well, there's a little clip here that connects into there, which clips it all shut. Okay, I'm gonna remove the camera from the tripod now and show you some other things. With the door, very easy to do the mounts here. Got 1, 2. With the door, very easy to do the mounts. And then I'm just gonna look up here at the marquee. And here's a very easy way to do the lights. The lights, you have to buy the power adapter. It clips in here. And then I just started running the lights have a self-adhesive back. And they're very, very easy, and they stick really well. So what I did was I started the lights here and I went this direction. And I don't know if you can see that, but I did 2 lines of lights. You do not want to put the lights behind the speakers here because you'll get a shadow. You'll get little round shadows on your marquee. So there's enough room for at least 2. In the description below, the lights that you buy, you're gonna have the other half of the roll available to you, which is fine because you can reuse them for a bar or underneath the cabinet. But as you can see, I have 2 lines of lights per section, okay? And it's plenty bright like that. And then lastly, what I didn't show you is the marquee. It's very simple. You have 2 pieces of plexiglass, and you have that little piece of, it's a transparent paper, which is the actual design. And then you have these 2 L brackets here, which have no adhesive on it. They're just little L's. And then you have 4 black screws that were included in the kit. And so you definitely don't want to screw in the plexiglass because you will risk cracking it, or at least pre-drill it first. But what I did was you get the 2 pieces of plexiglass, remove the paper off the plexiglass, try not to get fingerprints on it. You're gonna get the plexiglass, put the transparent paper in the middle of the 2, sandwich that. It's then gonna, this is an easier job if you have 2 people. I was able to do it with 1, but basically I got this little L clip here. I got the plexiglass and I put the L, and then I kind of manually held it, and then I kind of held it with my arm, and then I took a screwdriver and I tried to, you know, you don't want to get into the plexiglass, so you want to go a little bit farther out, but you don't want to go too far out to where like you risk, you know, this stripping right here and falling off. So I thought I did a pretty good job there with the screw, one there, and then on the top, I did it at the top. So let's take a close-up of that. It's not the most professional job, like it's not perfect, but most people would never notice it. So let's just show you what that looks like up there. So there you go, you got 1 screw on the left, 1 screw on the right, and then up here, you got 1 screw there, and then 1 there. And as you see, it's just enough to where it's not gonna strip this, but and still it's enough room here though that it's not catching on the plexiglass. And that's it. That was really it. The biggest issues I had were just, you know, wiring up these can be a little bit difficult, getting everything together, you know, sourcing it. But once you have everything and you look at the directions, it kind of free flows and you get the hang of it. It came out gorgeous. I mean, this really came out nice. If you like this video, give it a little thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys on the next one.